This is the Boles of Life Podcast. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Virginia. As we've gone through life, we've learned something important.
Life is messy. It gets complicated.
But we've also learned that we can create tools to help us jump into the mess of life and make an adventure of it.
Welcome to our messy adventures in faith, family, and food.
You're just trying to be weird.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you laughed literally when I said this.
Because you're smiling so big.
Well, that's because you have to be all excited.
It's Are you not?
It's lots of stage practice, hosting moments. I'm now remembering that I kind of intended to change out of these pants because they're windbreaker type material. Do we still call it windbreaker? Is it in the 90s?
I don't know.
Okay. Hopefully that was the last time Storm will snore very loudly.
I don't know. Yeah, if you can even hear it, but
we'll see.
She's right here.
Yeah. Hey, we're recording in almost real time.
Yeah.
Tell the people why we're recording in almost real time, Virginia.
We are no longer like 3 weeks ahead.
Yeah. Now, Thanksgiving played a factor. We didn't record that week.
Thanksgiving played a factor. Yeah, so we were like, oh yeah, we'll just have to record 2 when we get back from Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then what happened, Virginia?
I got a concussion.
You did. Tell the people how I accosted you. No, I'm kidding. Tell the people how you got a concussion.
It's a really cool story, actually.
It's not.
No, it is. Like, not as many people can say that they got a concussion the way I did. I mean,
No, that is accurate.
I'm a very adventurous person, and sometimes, like, what's that phrase? If life is tough, wear a helmet.
Yes.
Being risky and adventurous is tough, wear a helmet. So,
Keep going.
Yeah.
Get there.
So anyways.
You can do it.
I was in a hurry. I blame it on that. Mm-hmm. And we were all leaving, me and the kids. Tyler was already gone. We were leaving the house.
Work, to be clear.
Yeah. To go have an outing. And I stepped up into the back of the van a little too fast and a little too excitedly. And I hit my head on the top where the van closes, like the van door closes. Or it may have actually been the OS handle. I was looking at it the other day. I was like, maybe that's what I hit.
Nah, and, you would have hit the metal to get a concussion.
I mean, I like relived it. So,
okay.
Anyways, yeah, and it hurt like so bad, and I like immediately kind of yelled out and cried out and teared up a little bit, and I was like, oh man, I hope I didn't give myself a concussion. And like my eyes are completely closed at this point, and I'm holding my head with my kids in the car. And I was like, well, let me look around and make sure I'm not like seeing stars. And I wasn't. So I get in the car and I drive down the road, and I see Tyler because I was dropping something off, and he didn't believe me.
I was very confident you did not have a concussion from standing up too quickly inside the van. Very confident.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure you might be getting sick.
Yeah. And because while I was
you
with
were feeling
you,
nauseous.
Nauseous wasn't the right word. It was like I was feeling like I was about to pass out, but nauseous was the only way to describe that, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyways, but it was like quick. And so I was like, okay, I'm fine. I walked around. I was fine. Tyler was like, you're good. We looked at all the symptoms of a concussion. I really didn't have them like that. I could tell.
I felt nauseous.
I'm always sleepy, but like, it wasn't like, oh, I can't hold my eyes open. It wasn't nausea. It was just like this weird feeling that I thought, okay, I just got really anxious. That's what it was.
Sure.
I thought I kind of panicked myself. So then I get in the car with all 3 kids, and I drive again down the road and get to our destination. And, I'm hanging out with the kids. It's an indoor place for kids, and it hit me. I almost blacked out. I saw stars. It was darkness in my eyes, but I was still awake. Yep. And I was in those little tiny children's chairs. Tiny chair. It looked like a giant. I'm sure. And I had to call Tyler to come get me. And he still did not think that anything was wrong with me other than being sick.
Yeah, I thought you were sick. I was still very doubtful that you had a concussion from standing up too quickly in the van. And
so it kept happening. The feeling kept happening over and over again. So I was scared to get up, and I made him roll me out to the van in a rolling chair, and to keep, from having to stand up. And I started talking about like going to the hospital, and Tyler still was like not so sure.
Yeah, I mean, we had the 3 kids. I wasn't sure I still thought you were probably sick. But yeah, we got to driving, and it became kind of clear that your thoughts weren't connecting. And at first, my plan was still get home, find somebody to come sit with the kids.
And I had called my mom because I was like, she'll tell me what to do. Because it was like we have some doctor friends, but they work. I'm not just going to expect them to answer my call in the middle of the day. They're not an emergency service. So I was like, I'm going to call my mom and see what she says I need to do. Like, do we need to go to the hospital, or do we need to just wait it out? And she was like, yeah, I don't play with head injuries. You need to go to the hospital. So, like you said, we were just going to go home, get the kids settled, try to figure out who was going to keep the kids. But as we were going down the road,
you were becoming clearly not confused, but your thoughts weren't connecting.
I was like, I was falling out.
Yes.
Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was like,
I
was falling out, but I was still awake.
Right.
Over and over again.
Yeah. So took you to the ER, threw you in a wheelchair, rolled you in, and was literally like, hey, she probably has a concussion. I have to go get the kids out of the car.
Yeah, we have our 3 young children. Oh, it's fine. She checked me in, and she rolled me over. And
yes, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, she was like, oh, you're just going to get a little break from the kids. I mean, you didn't have to knock yourself out in order to do it, but she was like, you just relax, and we'll get you taken care of. And they were all very nice. They did a CT scan just to make sure there was no trauma to the head, to the brain. It was all normal. I was just having a concussion, a mild one, I guess.
Just having a concussion. I mean, if you were a professional football player, you would have pretended like bright lights and loud noises weren't bothering you at all. And you'd have just kept playing and, take more blows to the head.
No, that was terrible. Yeah. And I'm still recovering. Like, looking at the screen tonight as I was making notes was making me like dizzy. Yeah. Or like, I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, if you've had a concussion, you understand. If you haven't, you won't. And your brain gets tired. And it gets strained, and screens were the worst. Listening to music, lights, all of the things. Just wild. I'm like, I'm 30, almost 33 years old, and my first concussion was stepping into a van too quickly. Yep.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm 33 and I've not had a concussion.
I know. I was always proud that had never happened to me. Yeah. Because I didn't really play sports. So. Yeah.
Even the time you ran into someone else's head?
Yeah, I did not have a concussion. That wasn't hard enough, I guess.
Yeah. Wasn't hard enough. There you go.
Busted my eyebrow open, but...
It did bust your eyebrow open.
Thanks.
That's very true. So, we got a topic for you tonight, but before we jump into that, we're going to go ahead and just hit an early ad break because one of our kids is awake, and we're going to go deal with that, and we'll be back with you in like a few seconds to you. All right, and we're back just moments later for sure. We're back, and tonight we are jumping into, or today, depending on what time of day you're listening, a few nutrition things. Virginia, you wanted to talk about trendy nutrition.
Yeah.
Or nutritional trends.
Well, I kind of thought since it's like the end of the year, people are going to be going into the new year and probably...
New year, new me.
Yeah, inundated with like all these nutrition and wellness things. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to just give my take on what I counted out 10, actually 11, but 10 nutrition trends. There are more than what I'm going to talk about today.
Sure.
And there will be some that come 2025 that I had no idea about.
Absolutely.
So there's just 10. I'm calling it top 10, but it's really just 10 that I picked
10 that
out.
you picked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into it then.
Yeah. So Tyler, I gave you the list.
Yes.
You'll just get me started, and I will just give my take on each one of them.
Okay.
And we probably won't be able to do all 10 in one episode.
Yeah. No, we'll probably hit 5 of them, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Timing wise, you may not have much to say.
Yeah, we'll see.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah. Right.
Yes. All right. So first one, you just called it gut health.
Yeah.
I have really great gut health. Virginia laughed and rolled her eyes for the note for the audio there. Gut health. Tell me what you mean when you say gut health before you jump into what's trendy about gut health.
Yeah. So gut health is all about the health of your gut or your gastrointestinal system. So not literally just your stomach, but from top to bottom, from mouth to butt.
That was a good way. Yep.
But yeah, just like the health of your gut, and that the main thing is the microbiome, which is the world of little bacterias and other microscopic things that are in our gut. So,
and I want those there.
There are some you want there, and there are some you do not want there.
Oh, okay.
And so there's a whole, it's a biome. There's a whole life.
You're telling me there are things living in me?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that couldn't happen. I'm a boy.
What? Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but there's this whole habitat inside it's all over you. We have microbiome. We have, these
flesh-eating bacteria.
No, well, hope not. I'm losing the word, but we have the microbiome all over us, in our mouth, on our skin, in our gut, everywhere else too. So the thing is, there's just more and more research coming out about our gut health.
Sure.
And we still don't know enough. There's so much that I feel like we don't know, and we're still learning, but we have figured out how important gut health is, and we're still learning how to make it healthier or how to take care of it because of how it's related to our immune health, so our immunity, and our mental health. This gut-brain axis, it's connected. And so I'm using words that you may or may not have heard. So again, this is the trend, and it's a big one. It's kind of a buzz thing, your gut health. Let's fix your gut. Let's improve your gut, and you'll improve the rest of your health because it's connected, or it's believed to be. And so the recommendations are typically, advocating for pre and probiotics, which are things that you would eat. Okay. Mm-hmm. So first, let me tell you what a probiotic is. A probiotic is the bacteria that is good that you want in your gut. So pro being good, biotic, bacteria. Okay. Mm-hmm. You want to eat those, and you get that from fermented foods or foods that have live cultures, live bacteria in them. So typically that's your yogurt, any type of fermented food, your sourdoughs, sauerkraut, even pickles. Those are fermented. They depending on how they were made, they may or may not actually have bacteria.
So there's a lot of vinegar in there for anything to be living in.
No, it's there. That's how the vinegar helps it ferment. So that's the probiotic. The prebiotic is what the probiotics eat. So prebiotic is food for the good bacteria. And prebiotic is going to be your whole grains, fruits and vegetables, things like that. And it feeds the good bacteria. And so therefore it keeps the good guys healthy and growing. Whereas if there are foods that feed the bad bacteria, such as lots of sugar and highly processed foods, that sort of thing, and that's where you could get your microbiome imbalanced, if you will. That's kind of a vague term because, again, we don't really know all that we need to know. And this is actually not my specialty, gut health. I'm learning more myself, but a lot of times it's recommended if you're not getting probiotics by food, you might take a probiotic supplement, which is a pill form, it's a capsule. And that still has kind of always baffled me. It's how do you get bacteria in powder form that makes it all the way to your gut, makes it through the digestion process? They figure it out. I mean, they've got it figured out, but it still blows my mind. Anyways, long story short, I'll try to do that, keep it short, but definitely, we don't have to complicate it. It's definitely helpful to eat pre and probiotics. So eat the whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and then eat foods that are fermented or have live cultures, and that's going to help your gut health. And then as far as like if you need a supplement, the only thing about that is it's hard to know which one's the one you need.
Okay.
Because there's so many different bacterias, like we don't really know which one is the one you need. I think you can do like a fecal sample and maybe find out more.
Going somewhere and pooping.
Yeah.
What are my options here?
Right. So it's just like you could try it, and like, yeah, probiotics are going to make changes in your gut. So you'll feel different. Like you'll feel something, but it should always resolve and be for the better. It should never make it worse. So if it makes it worse, you should probably stop. But you know, gas and all that is normal because bacteria in your gut is helping you digest your food, which produces gas. So a little bit of gas might happen, but I'm telling you this because some people will be like, oh no, I have gas or something. It's like, well, it's kind of normal. It should resolve. But if it doesn't, or if it gets worse, pain or anything like that, obviously you need to reconsider what you're doing. But yeah, I think gut health is definitely a thing that will change the trajectory of human health as we continue to learn more about it. So I'm definitely here for that.
So what's the trendy side of this for you? Just like that people are talking about it a lot on social media?
It'll be a lot of just like selling you something, or it'll be selling you something that's going to fix your bloating problem, or if you have a bloating problem, you know, your stomach probably feels uncomfortable, you have a lot of gas, your belly probably sticks out a little more, which can be kind of along the weight loss. It's like we fix your bloat, then it looks like you lost weight. Then that can kind of, you know, trigger people to buy the product, which feeling more comfortable because you fix the bloat is nice. And so definitely, you know, like that's what people want. But the trend is just that, people are going to, they're going to capitalize on gut health because it's evident that we do have a lot of gut issues. We have a lot of like irritable bowel problems. Like, I know this is weird for me to be talking about on the air, but like a lot of people have gut issues. Like they're having lots of bowel movement issues and gut issues and bloating and gas and all this kind of stuff. Why did I start with the gut, man? But like, so a lot of things are going to market on that, to make you want to buy their product or be their client. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like if they're helping you, if they're truly helping you, that's great. Like that's a niche, you know, for them to be in. But the other trends might just be like, you know, it's talked about a lot, you know, fix your gut health, then your mental health will get better, or your immune health will get better. And that is obviously we're learning is true. It's just the problem is it's still highly individualized. So you really do want to make sure you're really doing research for yourself and maybe working with someone who can help you out.
Fair enough. Any easy might not be the right. Any just general signs that my gut health is off that you could just throw out there?
Oh yeah, like bloating, having, you know, stomach pain, or anything that kind of happens like after eating, that's bothersome. Okay. You'll feel it in your gut. There are some other signs that can be related to your gut, which again, it's all connected. So skin issues, allergies, difficulty digesting, foods, your bowel movements, you know, being abnormal for you, you know. Let's see, or even just bothersome.
Okay.
Those are some ways, yeah.
Yeah. Food-based ways to, I guess you kind of already said that.
Yeah, pre and probiotics.
Probiotics. How can I find trustworthy sources of supplements if I decide I need that? Like I've tried some yogurts and eaten lots of the fruits and veggies, and I still just feel like something's off. So like I feel like I need something beyond my diet.
I would find a trusted provider. It doesn't necessarily, I don't think that necessarily has to mean one that you go and see personally, but someone that you can learn from that has some credentials behind their name, not just like a wellness coach or, someone that's got a, either medical, what's I'm looking for, credential or a registered dietitian or like a functional medicine or functional nutrition provider. Those are going to be the ones that you can kind of trust. Just making sure, again, you're doing your research. And then of course, like supplements in general, like are kind of tricky. It's kind of hard to tell which ones are the best, but one thing to find out is if they are third party tested. That's really helpful.
What's that mean?
That means that they've had probably have an NSF stamp, which is National Sanitation Foundation or something like that. If they have a stamp, don't get into that. Just, I don't know why it's called that, but it's a third party that goes in and says what is on the label of this supplement is what is actually in this product. So they've stamped it to say like we've tested it. It may not be NSF. There are other third-party testers out there. So it is helpful to have that just because supplements aren't regulated. So, you want to buy a supplement that's been tested and shown to have what's in, what's on the label is actually what's in it. Though you may not always get that. And so trial and error.
Fair enough. Okay. Scrubs did teach me that what was in the poop was super important. They did a whole musical episode on it. That's right. Scrubs did a musical episode. That's
funny.
Poop.
I also watched that. I talk a lot about poop with my clients as a dietitian.
I know you do. It's
fun.
Yeah. We have more poop conversations in our house than just with our children. Yes. All right. So number 2, adding electrolytes to water. Electrolytes are cool. They make you have electricity and stuff.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yes, I know. It's
electric charge.
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently we're drinking dry water.
Oh no!
I just wanted to say that.
What?
Yeah.
Expand on those words.
Okay, so dry water is just saying that like the water doesn't have enough electrolytes in it. Okay, so it's not actually hydrating you. Okay. So I'm going to talk about it. So. Okay, so first, like when I was like first a dietitian, I would be like, no, you don't need an electrolyte drink unless you're like sweating for a long time or you're like an athlete. But then I realized I was wrong. Because I can't say for absolute certainty, like I'm not testing the water and I have no idea what exact minerals and how much mineral, how much of the minerals are in our water, whether it's this city's tap water or that city's tap water, like it's all different. And so it's hard. I think it's really hard to know.
Sure.
But it seems that our water is just not as hydrating as we think it is. So they've been calling it dry water. Okay. But, basically electrolytes are essential minerals, okay, that have electric charge that do things in your body. Okay.
Wait, pause. So if I'm drinking like straight from a spring water, I'm more likely to have not dry water then?
Yeah, so that's why bottled water is spring water from the Ozarks or whatever, because it is full of minerals. And it does, and it tastes, and your water tastes different based on the type of minerals and how much minerals are in your water. And so minerals are things such as potassium, sodium, magnesium, calcium chloride, phosphorus, etc. And we do get a lot of these minerals from food, but we also get them from water. And it's kind of just, I think we're beginning to see that we're just not getting as much of those minerals as we need. Maybe our food and water doesn't have as much as we need or as much as it used to, because we've farmed our land for a long time and we don't, it's hard. You've got to put minerals back into, I'm not a farmer, but like
crop rotation and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm not going to get into that, but essentially like we believe that we probably need more minerals than what we're getting. Now, if you have a really nutrient rich diet, then maybe not. But even then we are wondering, like, do our foods even have as much minerals as we need? Because the ground doesn't have as much minerals, and our water. Okay. Because our water gets the minerals from the ground. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So in theory, as we're filtering our water to remove the things that we polluted into our water through various ways.
Yeah.
And I use pollutant in a very generic term. As we're filtering the water, we're probably filtering out some of these minerals in the process.
It's possible, but like many filters, they say that so there's different types of filtering, like reverse osmosis, like completely filters out everything, including the minerals. So if you do that, you have to add minerals back to your water. Mm-hmm. Okay. But then there's some filtration systems that just take out the bad stuff, I guess, which I don't know. Yeah, I don't exactly know. Well, and all the pharmaceuticals that are in our water and all of because anything that gets to the ground gets to our water and doesn't get completely filtered out in the water filtration system for the city. Okay. Yep. So we still have things in our water that, you probably do want to have, like, I didn't realize this until just the past year. So I thought tap water was fine, but I didn't realize like there was things still kind of like in our water that probably we want to filter out. So yeah, like I said, I'm not testing the water. I don't exactly know, but anyway, so you have filters like on your refrigerator or maybe like on your drink dispenser, somewhere in your house if you have one of those. So definitely check your filters, make sure you have some, or make sure you're clean, updating them. Fair enough. But anyways, yeah, so you might be pulling some minerals out as well when you filter. I don't exactly know how all of that works, at least on like a national level. But what I wanted to say was like, I even personally realized, so this is a personal kind of anecdotal example here, but after being pregnant the third time and then going through pregnancy and postpartum and realizing how much hydration I truly needed, especially as a breastfeeding mama, and realizing how I feel if I'm not hydrated well, like I fully believe we are all walking around under mineralized, and we could all benefit from extra minerals, whether it be through an electrolyte drink or making sure that we are eating a nutrient rich diet, or even supplementing when it's needed or warranted. And I mean, I'm not talking about the electrolyte drinks that are like full of sugar. Like, sure, if you're a football player, you need the sugar, right? Yeah. But like if you're not, we don't need that extra sugar.
So like Gatorade 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing.
So there are a lot, and so this is a trend because there's Element, which is LMNT, there's Liquid IV, and there's all the store brand types of those.
Prime is a really big one right now.
Prime is a big one. Body Armor, which is not a powder, but it's like a beverage, and those are really tasty, and I like those, and those are made with coconut water. There's so many, like if you go down the drink aisle, you will see so many electrolyte drink mixes and some that are already bottled. So it's a little bit of a trend right now. Propel is another one. But it's definitely like I saw how much I needed it and how I feel when I don't have it. Paleo Valley is one that I really like. But I've used Propel like just because it was the easiest and cheapest like I could get to, and it still gave me electrolytes. So
fair. Signs that somebody might be in need of more electrolytes in their hydration.
Well, of course, thirst. If you're thirsty for water, that's definitely a sign. I think some other signs are you're feeling tired, sluggish, not sleeping well, but also difficulty waking up, headaches. And the thing is, if we're just mildly dehydrated, like things start to happen in the body. It affects our heart, our kidneys, our brain. So, I mean, it affects like we're 70% water. You know what I'm saying? Like we need, and all of these, and not just water, not just H2O, but like all of the minerals are doing all of these things in our body, and they're using them up if we don't keep replenishing that. And so it's not about drinking a gallon of water a day. It's about drinking enough water, not so that your pee is clear, because that was a thing for a while too. Because if your pee is clear, that just means you're over. For that every day. You're like, you're probably like, you have too much water but not enough mineral. Supposedly, yeah. So yeah, I know. Like even I was like, crap. Like, wait, what? You know. So I'm, again, it's like what's just somebody trying to sell you their product and what's like true, but essentially, we need these minerals. We get them through water and food, so we need to get enough of it. You'll feel a little sluggish, a little sleepy. It could affect like heart, like maybe some heart palpitations or something like that. But that could be totally a lot of other things. So go see your doctor or whatever. This is not medical advice.
You're having heart things. Go see a doctor.
Yeah. Or like, what was the other one I was thinking of? Just not feeling as great. We'd all feel a little better if we were properly hydrated. So
okay, fair enough. Low sugary options for finding electrolytes, then, because that seems to be when you say electrolytes, I think of
Gatorade. Powerade.
Yeah, I think of Gatorades and Powerades, because even though I know potassium is a thing that I need, because like high school I used to get calf cramps real bad, or when I played Ultimate a lot in college, and so I always knew I needed more potassium. I didn't necessarily know that potassium was an electrolyte, and I didn't have all those things connected.
Yeah, and sodium. Sodium is one, which is salt, and people kind of freak out about getting too much salt when really, like, we actually probably need more. That's a whole thing. I'm not getting into that. But
that does feel like a whole thing. You just opened a whole can of questions within me that I'm resisting to but like, not ask.
It's depending on the type of molecule combination there, but but anyways,
low sugar options.
So there's a lot out there, and there's some, they can get expensive. So there's store brand ones. I've used the Kroger brand and the Walmart brand of electrolyte powder drinks. Like I said, I've used Propel. There's Elementy, which is, they say it's Element. There's I
bet a millennial named that.
Probably. Yeah. And there's Liquid IV. I mentioned that one. Most of them do have a salty flavor, so you got to get past that unless they're just highly flavored with something else or some sort of sweetener. Coconut water is a great hydrator, so that's one that's like more natural. It's not like, I say natural. It's more like whole versus it being like in a powder form. Pickles obviously are hydrating. That's why we eat pickles when we have cramps.
It's not why I eat pickles. I just eat them because I love them.
Yeah, and that's why I think pregnant women crave pickles because they need the extra minerals.
Makes sense.
Okay. I was thinking of one more. Paleo Valley, I mentioned they have a good one. There's one more, Redmond Light. I haven't tried that one, but I hear that's a good one.
Okay, so, cool. Yeah. What makes this trendy?
What makes this trendy? So, like I drink water all the time. So everybody's walking around with their water bottles, right?
Yeah.
Like drinking water. They're big old cups of water, bottles of water. And, I think just over time, I don't know where it all came from, but as we have social media and people are giving out information left and right, you have people that are recommending you drink more water, but then you have people going, just because you drink more water doesn't mean you're hydrated. And so then it's like, oh crap, like I thought I was doing the right thing, but now I'm not. So now what do I need? Oh, I got to go buy this supplement that you're selling or that you're recommending, which is like literally what I just did. I just recommended some like powders, but it's just like, it's just this thing that's like people are talking about a lot on social media. And but the thing is, like, there's definitely some evidence behind it. Like, it's true, like you do need those minerals, and I think we're just realizing that we need them. And this is an easy way to get them through like a powder drink or something. But yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Am I answering that question well? I don't know. You're asking how is it trendy? Is that kind of...
Yeah, just what is making it... Like, where are you seeing it? Because these aren't things that are popping up in my feed even remotely. So I'm just curious what makes it feel...
I guess so. It's just like, it's one of the things trendy now that like wellness people are recommending, like making sure you're actually hydrated. Like we've always said, drink a lot of water, be hydrated. But now we're realizing like, oh, we may not actually be getting as hydrated as we thought. So we're drinking all this water, yet we're not actually feeling better, improving that hydration system. So I think it's just a highly recommended thing, but we're improving our recommendations. So you'll see it a lot, but it's just to know, like, because there will be people out there that'll be like I was previously, like, you don't need that unless you're outside sweating and you're like a professional athlete. But then it's like, well, maybe. Oh, one other one is, I guess it's salt. So there's Quinton minerals. I think is what it's called, but it's like deep sea water. So it's literally
deep sea water.
Yeah. That you add to your beverage.
Water.
It's deep sea water. It's like salt. It's literally from the sea.
Okay.
Because our it's salt water.
Right. Yeah.
But it has other minerals in it. Isn't that interesting?
It's interesting.
Okay.
Magnesium. First of all, question: is that MEN or MG?
It's MG.
MG on the
MN
periodic?
is manganese.
Okay, I couldn't remember. It's been a long time since I dealt with my elements.
Yeah, MG. So magnesium, similarly. So I won't go through all of that same stuff again, but magnesium is a mineral.
Yep.
Very essential. So pregnancy and postpartum also opened my eyes to this one. But again, this is another trend. I see it everywhere. People recommending magnesium for so many different things. But that's because we're realizing how important magnesium is. I mean, all the other minerals are important, but magnesium is used in our body in 300 different processes.
All right, go ahead. Start at number one.
No, I don't know.
I'm just picking.
But like, where I'm talking like muscle function. We need it for muscle function. And this is what I always say to people. What's the most important muscle in your body? Your heart.
Okay.
Yeah. So your heart. So this is heart health, right? And so muscle function, energy production, bone health. And so apparently we're not really getting enough magnesium. And we're not getting enough through our diet. So it's like, okay, we got to try and eat magnesium rich foods. Nuts and seeds, and there are fruits or not fruits. Well, maybe some fruits, but most of your like vegetables, like your like root vegetables, are going to have some magnesium in them. I probably should have made sure I knew these before I started naming them off. But anyways, so supplementation has kind of become a new thing. It's like, make sure you're getting enough magnesium.
Okay, so how do I know if I'm not getting enough magnesium? Like, are there any signs that are specific to magnesium?
Sort of, but it's so vast that like we don't have like time to go into it. And I feel like it's hard to, so here's some things. Let me finish, and that may answer some of your questions. So like, magnesium, if it works in muscle function, then, if you're using your muscles, which we do every single day, then you're using up magnesium. Okay. So it's not necessarily, you're going to be like, you're not going to like get a lab test and say, oh, you're low in magnesium necessarily, but you're using up the magnesium. And if you're not quite getting enough, like, you need to make sure you're getting it, in your diet. Figure out how to get it in your diet or whatever. Not trying to stress anybody out, because stress uses up magnesium a lot too.
So high anxiety uses up magnesium?
Yes. So if you're stressed...
No wonder we're lacking in magnesium then.
Exactly. Right? So stress uses up magnesium. So a lot of people, like, headaches are one. But so this thing, like, headaches could be related to other things.
Anything.
So I'm not like we're not trying to diagnose anybody here.
Right, sure.
This is not medical advice, whatever. But like, headaches can be resolved with magnesium if it's related to magnesium. Period problems for women can be resolved if we have enough magnesium, because our body uses a lot of magnesium for the menstrual cycle and the hormones in that cycle. So, you can have better cycles if you have more magnesium. Again, assuming your problems are related to not getting enough magnesium, which likely we all are kind of lacking a little. Sleep is improved with enough magnesium, because magnesium helps create melatonin. So, and it also helps relax the muscles. So it relaxes the body. Okay, so that's where it comes in on muscle function. Okay, so magnesium can be taken to help with sleep and to help lower your stress. Okay, so it's not necessarily about how do I know that I'm low in magnesium. We're all going to need to eat enough magnesium, and we're struggling to get enough. The question is, how are you going to get your magnesium so that you are supporting all of these systems in your body? Because it's going to help stress. It's going to help sleep. It's going to help if you have headaches. It's going to help if you have period problems. It's going to help if you have gut problems. Because it also helps with your gut and bowel movements. Okay. So those are just to name a few.
Okay.
Right? Okay. And your bone health too. So,
if I'm taking a general daily multivitamin, and this was also a question back to electrolytes that I thought of and didn't ask then, like, if I'm taking a general daily multivitamin, am I probably getting the electrolytes and magnesium I need, or do I need to be doing something more?
Likely you are
getting enough.
You're probably getting, you're probably covering some grounds there. That's where multivitamins, it's called multivitamin, but it also has minerals in it. Vitamins and minerals are two different things, but they're both nutrients.
Whoa. I just learned something.
Yeah. So you're probably covering some grounds, but I will always say, especially as a dietitian, like, we absorb nutrients better from food.
Okay.
Or food sources. So if you are using a supplement, it is helpful for it to be from a more natural food source. Now, don't ask me like to tell you those right now because I don't have brands or anything off the top of my head. But if we aren't getting it through food and we need to supplement our diet with supplements, or if we're just taking like a multivitamin, that, our body isn't going to absorb every single ounce of that multivitamin that we're taking. So just keep that in mind. Like, it's just meant to supplement. It's not meant to like be your main source. Unless like, again, like there's some medical issue or something, like you can't eat that. And so you have to take it through supplement. But anyways, yeah.
With food, I think you already said this, root-based vegetables and magnesium.
Because they're grown in the dirt.
Okay. Was there anything else that tends to be heavy in that direction that you can think of?
Like magnesium?
Yeah.
Like nuts and seeds. Give me just a second. Oh, yeah. Like nuts and seeds also include beans, legumes. So your beans... and our grains as well will have some magnesium in it. So,
okay.
Leafy greens too. Spinach so that's like spinach is a great source or leafy greens are a great source of minerals, iron, magnesium. Leafy greens. Yeah. So,
okay, cool.
So yeah, again, if you get a well-rounded diet, you're likely getting a good bit, but there's still some, I don't know, this is where the trend kind of comes in, and it's like, can we trust it? Can we not? It's like, our foods don't have enough, right, it's like, you
can get a study to say anything,
right? So it's like, oh wait, but I'm eating, but then you tell me it's not enough. So what do I need to do? Buy your product that you get like money off of? Like, I don't know. That's where it gets really tricky. Is our
world actually that broken in our modern society that we're not getting it from our food?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It probably is.
But are you also probably getting enough from your food if you're eating a well-rounded diet? Probably. So
just to say, I'm going to say a few more things and then we'll move on. But for one, I'll say this, like, I don't mean to sound like super wishy-washy or anything. It's just, I can see both sides of things. And so I just don't want us to get too caught up in one thing, and just to do our own research. But about continuing on with magnesium, this is just a fun fact I always like to tell.
I love fun facts.
Women crave chocolate a lot at the beginning of their cycle, so right before they start their period. Sorry, guys, to talk about that. But like, we crave chocolate, and that's because chocolate is a good source of magnesium.
And that's why I always crave chocolate.
Yeah. So magnesium, obviously, like I said earlier, is used a lot in the body, especially for that cycle for that system. So it's just, I mean, it's tasty, it's comforting. So, I mean, it gives us that comfort that we need at like a really important time. So like I said earlier, like headaches and PMS symptoms can decrease with magnesium. Sleep improves with magnesium because it helps create melatonin. I said that already, helps relax the body. But here's the thing. You don't want to just go out and buy a magnesium supplement, right? Because you're going to end up, there's different combinations of the minerals that do different things. So you don't want to go buy the first magnesium supplement you find and then you're stuck on the toilet because it was the type that helps you go to the bathroom when you're constipated, when you really wanted the kind that helps you sleep. Okay. So don't.
That's stressful.
Yeah. So you just need to do your research about which combination that you need. Like, for example, there's magnesium glycinate, there's magnesium citrate, which is the constipation one. And there's other combinations out there. So just like do your research or talk to a professional first, just so you're not just like buying something just because you heard me say we need magnesium. Okay. Like,
good to know.
Be smart.
Good to know. Okay. This one, I feel like it's been hanging around for a minute. The ketogenic diet.
Yeah. This one's been around for a while and it's like quite frankly, I don't even know if I have the energy to talk about it anymore. No, I mean, not really, but, I actually, have been very just like, whoa, like no ketogenic diet. Like that's just not a sustainable diet. It's not,
what do you mean by sustainable?
Sustainable meaning something you can do for the rest of your life.
Okay.
So sustainable meaning you can sustain it, not necessarily talking about the environment or anything. It's not a sustainable diet. Like if you can't do it the rest of your life, then is it worth it? Is it worth it? So, but there's a dietitian that I know her personally, but, we had a brief time that we interacted and, she's a pro ketogenic diet and I'm talking about pro ketogenic diet, very for it. And, she's very, she's very up on her research for it. So I've learned a lot from her. And to me, it's just not the type of diet I want to work with anyone on, because ketogenic diet is a very strict type of diet, but you can do it in a way that is sustainable. Maybe if it's something that you can do, you can do it in a way that will work for long term, if you do it right, if you do it well. And that's the strict part of it. It's you got to still make sure you get your vegetables and, but you're so strict on how many carbohydrates you can get. So ketogenic is a very, very low carbohydrate diet. Okay. It puts the body into a ketosis state, which makes the body, burn fat for energy versus, burning sugar. So you get rid of all your sugar stores. That's where the fast weight loss comes from. When you go on a low carb diet, you lose weight really quickly because you got rid of all your glucose stores, and glucose is stored with water. So you lost a lot of water weight. Just FYI, anytime that you go on a diet and you lose a lot of pounds in the first week, but then you stop doing that, it's because you lost water weight and it's because you used up a lot of your glucose stores and they're stored with water. This doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing or whatever, but the ketogenic diet, it shifts the body to burn fat. And when fat is broken down for energy, it releases what is called ketones, which is an acidic byproduct of fat breaking down. And so the only thing, there's been some question about the brain's primary source of energy or preferred source of energy. And we've always said it's sugar. We've always said it's carbohydrate. But the keto people will say, no, actually ketones are better, or that using the ketones from the fat breakdown is better. I'm not really going to get into that right now, but essentially it helps people lose weight. And it also is supposedly really good for the brain and heart health and so on and so forth if you do it well. But if you just say, I'm going to go on the keto diet and you just go eat meat, you're going to hurt yourself. Seriously. We just talked about
Yeah, I know somebody personally who just wound up in the hospital.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're going to do it, like work with somebody who specializes in it and work with somebody who is like a professional credentialed provider. Again, not just like your health coach, your wellness coach who helps you, reduce your carbohydrate intake. Like, no, a professional who can help you get labs drawn, make sure that you're not, hurting yourself, like, and go the Mediterranean style. Like if you're going to do it, and that's the dietitian that I follow, she is very Mediterranean style, which again is like heart healthy fats and rich in vegetables and fish and that sort of stuff. But it's just not the type of diet I want to work with anyone on, but I'm totally okay as a dietitian working with a person to help them reduce refined carbohydrates, which is like processed carbohydrate foods, and improving their quality of their carbohydrates. Because I think personally, like sustainably wise, like quality of life and the way that I eat being something I can do the rest of my life is something that I do enjoy. So, which quality of life comes if your health is improved. So again, depends on what you really need. That's why these things are very individual. But anyway, say all that to say, you have to be really like extremely devoted for ketogenic to work. So again, just recommend you working with someone who specializes in that.
Okay. Awesome.
It's been a trend for a while. Yeah. So that's no question
that wasn't
there.
my question. Yeah. I think you pretty much answered all the ones I was thinking of through it. Yeah. You did say refined carbohydrates. What do you mean when you say refined?
Refined. So I mentioned like it's processed carbohydrates. Okay. Refined carbohydrates is just carbohydrates, foods that are more processed. So think about the wheat grain, for example. You're not going to go take a wheat stalk and just chew on it and eat it like that, right? So
Jesus did.
Well, okay.
Got in trouble for it.
I thought it was corn.
No,
I'm kidding. Corn is a grain, but anyways, but we call it a vegetable. Isn't that funny? So
vegetables are real.
Yeah.
Open that can of worms.
I love that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I love that actually.
Anyway,
what was I
sorry.
saying? Oh yeah, you're not just going to eat the wheat like that. You're going to process it. They even did back in the day.
Yes, absolutely.
To process it to some degree so that it's a more edible form.
Right.
So they mill it up and then they turn it into a flour of sorts, which we can then use it to make breads and pastas and so on and so forth. However, the more processed it is, the just less quality, the lower quality it is nutritionally. And so again, like we can use some of those things in our diet and it be okay. It's just not going to be like as nutritionally valuable. So I'm thinking, so for example, this is an example I like to take. So you have wheat, we have to turn it into an edible form. So you have like homemade bread, right? And then you have like store-bought bread. And then with store-bought bread, you have wheat bread and you have white bread. You have honey wheat. You have white wheat. You have, what's the other one? Like butter bread. You have all these different options. So just take us from whole wheat to white. The white is processed even more than the whole wheat. The fiber has been taken out of it. All the nutrients were taken out of it. It was turned white. They put some nutrients back in it so it wouldn't be completely void of what nutrients wheat provides for us. But the more processed, the more refined it is. So that's what that word means. It's just more processed, refined. Complex is like on the opposite end. It's a more complex carbohydrate. It's less processed. It's more closer to its whole form.
Nice.
So process is not a bad thing. Just hear me out, because we have to process things to a degree so that we can actually eat them.
How processed do you think the little communion wafers are?
Ultra.
That's
the word that's used.
Yes. Ultra processed.
Yeah.
Love it. Last one for this episode. Bravenly Global, and I think I'm going to say this right. Arbonne.
Yeah. So definitely I feel like I'm like going to get some people like, oh, she's
step on some toes.
She's talking about some like name brands here. But I really do want to bring these up because these have been really popular. And Bravenly Global, I'll start with that one. I put these two in one just because to save some time. But these are both direct sales companies. And let me just say this. This is what is known as an MLM. And I am not speaking negatively about MLMs. MLMs are what we use today to market businesses or products. I say we use what a lot of people use, and so it's how people make money for their families. And it's not sketchy. Now, the way that people approach you may be sketchy, but that's on the person. That's not necessarily on the company's model. So I'll just say, like, I'm not here to talk bad about MLMs. Like, that's not the deal. But these are direct sales companies. So you see people online selling a product versus going into a store and buying the product. How do you find out about products that you really like or come to like because somebody told you about them? So that's how direct sales works, just in case anybody needs to know. But Bravenly Global, they sell products that have all different types of like plants and herbs and nutrients and phytonutrients and all other sorts of things that are formulated into like a supplemental form that helps with energy or weight loss or anxiousness, to feel calm or less stressed, and so many other things. I believe they have like naturopathic type doctors that help them formulate these products. And it's all over Facebook right now. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'm surprised. Now, not you, but and you may not. I feel like they say the name. Bravenly and Arbonne both will say their names. There are other companies out there that you have to message to get the name. It's like, oh, DM me for more information, because they're not actually going to put the name out there. I don't know why they do that. I guess that's just like to capture you.
I was going to say it's probably a mixture of both, yeah.
But anyways, it's all over Facebook. At least I've seen it. And the thing that I've just kind of seen with it is like some of the stuff that's in their product. You can see what's in their product. You can read the label. What they say is in the product.
Was that the right order?
I think I did actually see NSF on their website. Okay. So remember, FDA does not regulate supplements, but whatever. So, what I would say here is like they have a lot of like nutrients and herbs and things that even I have recommended, like in like maybe you take it in a single like form, whereas these are like proprietary blends or whatever. And so they're helping people do the things they want to do, that's claiming to do. And then there's this whole community around it. But I kind of always say, like, if it helps you and it doesn't hurt you or misguide you, then fine. It's trendy right now. It grew really quickly. I can't remember exactly, like $19 million. I can't remember, like quick, got into the $1 million. And it is expensive. Like if you look at their prices of their products, like they're expensive. So it's a really big expense. And so, supplements are supposed to supplement what we're already doing, but the things that are in these supplements are not things that you're typically getting from food. You have to supplement them. So just like, don't let it fool you that it's some magic pill. It's not. It's just some extra nutrients and a lot of hype that's, kind of helping you out there. So I'm not like, I'm neutral. Pretty neutral.
How can I determine whether or not a supplement is actually beneficial for my nutritional needs versus being influenced by good marketing? Because that's what this comes down to.
I think we just have
good marketing.
We have to stop impulse buying. So just because someone says this works and shows you all the pictures and testimonials of all the people that it's worked for with their before and after pictures and before and after testimonials, take a moment to pause and go, what do I really need? Is this product going to actually help me make changes in my life that are sustainable, or is this just a product I'm going to spend a lot of money on for a short time? And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing either, but because like it can somewhat be a gateway into healthier like lifestyle, healthier changes. But how do you know? I think it's good to ask questions to maybe people around you that know you well and love you well, and even your professionals, which again, like some people aren't aware of it. Doctors might just be like, yeah, it sounds good. Or I've seen people blah, blah, blah. So yeah, go for it. And so, it's kind of like, that's not really like a helpful intake, or it's not a helpful take on it. But, I even know like people have asked me personally, like, what do I think about this or that? And I can kind of look into it for them. I can help them make the decision. And sometimes they realize, you know what, I really don't need to spend my money on that. Like, it sounds great. It could possibly make me more energetic, but I probably should just spend my time and effort on stopping scrolling for an hour before I go to sleep. Yeah. So I think that is just, we've got to stop the impulse buying and really think about things before and this is the thing about some companies is they will, and I say companies or the people who are selling the product, they play on your emotions and they play on your insecurities. So you really need to stop and think, is this something that I really need to do? Or is it something else that I really need? So Arbonne, on the other hand, is another, company out there that I feel like they've shifted they've shifted because they've been around for a while, but they kind of like came back. And the Arbonne reps that I see on Instagram that I follow them before they were Arbonne reps. And when they started showing up with Arbonne, I kind of was like, oh man. But then it was like, no more skipping breakfast and running on empty. This mom is not doing that anymore. I'm taking care of myself. And I was like, you know what? Do it. Go girl. Like, take care of yourself. If that means you have to have a shake in the morning, like a protein shake, like whatever. Start somewhere. If you're not eating breakfast and then you choose to have a protein nutrient rich shake in the morning, like that's great. Like I'm not taking that from you. I don't necessarily think we need to be replacing our meals with liquid, but if you're not eating breakfast and this gets you fueling your body in the morning, great. And if it gets you, they have all these like energy fizz, like that are full of nutrients and things. It's like, yeah, if that's getting you like what you need without drinking more energy drinks or, caffeinated beverages full of sugar or full of caffeine and other things that your heart really doesn't need, then like I'm for it. Like that's great, because it's not, at this point, it's really just, it's a nutritional, it's more nutritional. It's like it's more food like to some degree, and it's helping you really take care of your body as you weren't. So I've always, I've seen that and I'm like, yeah, like go for it. That's great. Take care of yourself. Also there's community. There's community in the Arbonne world. Yeah. Because, you get it's like the whole, downline, upline, you have all your people that are buying the product and are selling the product, and we're coaching each other. We're, making everybody excited about taking care of themselves. And I've literally watched 2 girls on Instagram, 2 mamas, start the beginning of this year doing these things, and we are now getting to the end of the year, and it's just been honestly kind of cool to watch them go from running on empty and not taking care of themselves, having some health issues, or just not feeling their best, to really like thriving. Or even if they still have issues, like a gut issue or a stress issue, they're able to go, I need to stop and take care of myself. And so they're more in tune with their bodies, and they're more like prone to stop. So that's my take on that. And that was a lot for just 5. So we'll do the other 5.
Oh yeah,
in the next episode.
Yes, for sure. Okay. I'd say one of the underlying things of all definitely the first four, and arguably this fifth one as well, is all tied to supplements, vitamins, minerals, those kinds of things, and being able to assess to some extent whether or not what somebody's potentially offering you is really the need. And you kind of already said to maybe skip buying it the first time you see it, essentially. Don't impulse buy it. Maybe just get off of social media for a minute and see, you didn't quite say it this way, but see if there's just something locally and possibly even more natural than what somebody's trying to sell you online. Any other thoughts and tips on how to just kind of know the difference in what am I being marketed here and what it is I actually need, short of, again, going and getting full-on lab work done?
Oh, yeah. I think it's very helpful to, I mean, I'm not saying go get a degree in science or nutrition or whatever, but like do your research and like learn.
Where can I do that well? That isn't just, again, Google. Somebody on Instagram or whatever telling me these things.
Yeah, I think you just find incredible resources. PubMed, you can find a lot of actual research articles, but the general person is not going to be able to like read
decipher
that. So, and most people probably don't have the time to really research what they need to research, but just maybe it's talking with, again, a professional that you can ask the questions you need to ask or learn the things you need to learn. And again, like that's an expense, like to, find a trusted doctor or a dietitian or, functional provider and learn what you need to learn about your body if you're having an issue.
Yeah.
Like if you're having an issue, like, again, don't always just think like, oh yeah, this person said it works, like I should try that. Like stop and think for yourself and learn your body, tune into yourself, talk to some people that are in your area, like in your circle, whether that be, again, your doctor or your some sort of provider for you, nurse practitioner or something. Again, like you said, without having to go get lab work, I think it's just like stopping and like listening to your body. And that takes some time and practice. And that's, not like something I can like really riff on right now. But I think the other thing is like, you said stop scrolling, stop, get off on get off and go find someone local. I think if we just really stopped and looked at our habits and what's forming us and what's forming our health, we could figure out a few things we can do for free before we go and buy any product or buy any service for that matter. I mean, I do that all the time. I'm like, oh, that would be really cool to have or to buy or a course to go through, but I don't have the money for that. So I'm going to do the work on my own to figure it out. Like, I can't go to physical therapy or I can't go to the chiropractor every time I have a twinge in my hip from this last baby that I had, but I can go figure out some exercises that are, safe and helpful because YouTube is amazing. And it's like, okay, I know that this exercise helps me. So it's like, we've got to do some of this research for ourselves because we don't need to be clueless about our bodies and we don't need to be clueless going into the doctor and just being like, whatever they tell us to do, we do. But we have no idea what it's actually doing to us. So I really think it's we've got to like tune into our bodies, but also tune into our habits. Like, what is one thing that you can say, oh yeah, like that's what's actually making me exhausted. So if I'd made that change, I wouldn't have to spend $85 on this supplement.
Like it. Would you feel okay with people as a starting point, hopping on to something, a ChatGPT or similar AI and getting it to run pros and cons of like, especially these more brand based things like around those and things like that?
That helps you kind of read through it and research for yourself. Like, pros and cons of this versus that, or what's, what is this all about? And just learning. And then a lot of ChatGPT GPTs will source their information.
Yeah, you can ask it to, and it will. If it
didn't. So you can go and say, okay, I'm going to read this and learn more about it. And, information is power, but it's also a big responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think that's why sometimes even dietitians are like, stop doing all the research, or doctors are like, just let us tell you what you need to know. It can kind of be like they don't want you to know things, but it's really just like because it can get kind of hairy.
Sure.
All the information that's out there.
And it's stressful and overwhelming.
It can be very stressful. Yeah. So just first, just look inward. Okay. Just look at yourself and talk to yourself for a little bit and go, okay, what can I do to help myself out here? Is this something I really need? Or is this something I can change that will help me out?
I like it.
All right. Well, tune in to the next episode where we will finish out the 5 of the top 10. And what you can do for us now is it is still time to buy presents for Christmas. And you can go on over to bolesoflife.com and you'll see a tag at the top that'll bring you to our gift list for 2024. And you'll find a curated list on there that you can buy some nice gifts for your Christmas presents this year.
Love it. Thank you guys for joining us on this podcasting journey of messy adventures in faith, family, and food.